Good afternoon, Europe, and good morning, America. We are live again with another Microsoft licensing and cloud update and the Q&A session, if you have any questions that you would like to ask today. And I am your host, Alexander Golev. I lead a company, an international team of experts in various kinds of knowledge around Microsoft licensing and purchasing. We don't sell licenses. We consult on how to buy them. We consult on how to conduct an audit with the final goal of reducing the costs to reasonable minimums. That's what we do, effectively. We save costs. And we have a team of consultants and data analysts that their only agenda, because we don't sell licenses, is our client's agenda. But today, I'd like to update you on what's going on in the world of Microsoft licensing and cloud. And very simply, we'll begin with what Microsoft published on their website, on their product terms website. And instead of going through each and every news, which will be running in the ticker right now at the bottom of this screen, I will only concentrate on the most important bits that have a potential to affect your budgets for this year and years to come. So let's begin. Let's dive in. So this is essentially what you see on your screen. This is essentially what has been going on in July, since the 1st of July, what Microsoft updated, plus a bit of mid-June updates. And you may notice that almost following the tradition of the recent months, Microsoft didn't really introduce anything revolutionary here. It's not to say that you should completely dismiss these new product availability entries and updated prerequisites for Microsoft 365 Copilot, for example. Let me walk you through the most important parts from our point of view. Microsoft Copilot for M365, which is the famous Copilot that Microsoft created to be integrated with Microsoft Office applications, now has more prerequisites. Look at this slide and notice that every orange item here is something new, is something they have brought in as a new prerequisite, mid-June, by the way. It's not the 1st of July news, for Copilot for M365. It's all good news. It's not a bad update. The only question is anything that is at the bottom of the slide. There's no clarity for us at the moment. And if somebody online right now can tell us why would somebody buy Copilot if they only have Exchange Online license for that user? What's the reason? Because Copilot for M365 is not like ChatGPT. It requires actual applications. It integrates with the applications. It helps you to use applications. So if I have, let's say, plan 1, how does Copilot can help me? The experts in the industry think that maybe there will be something introduced by Microsoft soon that may expand functionality of Copilot for M365 to these small items. Clipchamp, for example, it's a video editor. Maybe there'll be Copilot for Clipchamp. But this is the update. And if somebody has just a license for Microsoft Clipchamp, they may also acquire a license for Copilot for M365. It's definitely good news. The next one, let's move on. There's a new product, Windows 365 Cross-Region Disaster Recovery, which is an add-on license to Windows 365 Enterprise. What is Windows 365 Enterprise? Essentially, Windows 365 is a cloud-hosted desktop virtual machine. And I say cloud-hosted. It's Azure-hosted. It's exclusively on Azure. And if you want to have cross-region disaster recovery capabilities, With this add-on license, this service can create snapshots of your cloud virtual machines and store them in any other Microsoft region in the world. As per the FAQ, frequently asked questions, it basically means, so what they basically say is you can store it in any Azure region. There are no limitations. This may be interesting. This may be interesting to those who are concerned about resilience. That's why we decided to include this in this slide, in this presentation. Sorry. Entra Suite, which is not a new product, which was introduced as a logical continuation of what used to be known as Azure Active Directory. Since about 2022, Microsoft started renaming all the Azure Active Directory products into and identity management products and access management products into Entra Suite. Now there is a new product entry in product terms. Unfortunately, I can't comment on whether that was already on the price list for many months. I would assume that looking at what I could find, it was probably there since November. If you use these capabilities, if you use Entra Suite capabilities, then just know that now there are licenses and products officially on the product list, which include Entra Suite itself, its separate components, private access and internet access. You can buy them separately. And there's a, what's it called? Security Access Essentials. There is a full Entra Suite that requires, as a prerequisite, Entra ID Plan 1. There's also a cheaper add-on to Entra ID Plan 2. These are the new updates in regards to the Entra Suite. But what we think is probably the most important news, which is not yet in the product terms, it's not yet there. It came through a blog post by Microsoft recently, is that Microsoft redefines the definition of the external users. You may know, or you may not know, that external users are licensed differently for some of the Microsoft products. Or I would probably rephrase it in the other way. If you need to provide access to some of the Microsoft products for external users, then license prerequisites are different, and some of them may even be free. If your organization still uses on-premises Exchange, Skype for Business, or SharePoint, not everybody is yet in the cloud. Then, since about 2016, maybe earlier, it was quite a long time ago, external access for external users is free of charge. So this definition is important. Right now, until October, it is still in effect. The definition says, I will read it from the slide, external users refers to users that are not employees, on-site, this is the keyword, on-site contractors or on-site agents. What they're effectively saying by this is that if a user is an employee, an on-site contractor, or an on-site agent, then they are internal. Everybody else is external. And you may infer, and many organizations, and us included, always inferred that if a user is not an on-site contractor, they work off-site, they work remotely, then they are not an internal user. It's not an internal user. Therefore, maybe they may use cheaper licenses. So that was an option. It still is. If you sign or renew an agreement after the 1st of October 2024, what's important to understand is that all the changes in Microsoft licensing apply to agreements. So during the term of, say an enterprise agreement, a 3-year term or a 5-year term, the rules still apply from when you signed it. So if you sign a new agreement after the 1st of October 2024, then the definition will be different. Now we have definition the definitions that include also users that work from home. And to be honest, it's quite surprising that it took so long for Microsoft to catch up with the work from home paradigm. But here we are. So now internal users not only include employees of the organization or its affiliates, it also includes internal users. Please pay attention to this. Internal users include contractors or agents that typically work for more than 30 hours on average per week, regardless of whether they're on site or they work from home or they work from a remote site. Doesn't matter. So now if somebody works for the organization, not being an employee, for 30 hours on average per week or more, then they're considered an internal user and they require internal licenses. The other definition here basically says that's the definition of the on-site. If somebody works for your organization on-site on every day of the week, then, well, they are internal users. That's it. So that's the repetition of what's on the left on this slide. Why is this important? I already said that licensing is different. So these users that will be requalified as internal will require licenses like Windows Server CAL, RDS CAL, or RMS CAL for Windows Server. External users may be either licensed with CALs, or there's a cheaper option if you have a lot of external users, which is Windows Server external connectors. External connectors are normally, if an organization is of a reasonable size, they're normally less expensive and easier to manage because they're per server, per hardware box, not per user. They don't scale with the number of users. Now, when the users become internal, you will need to buy licenses for them. Office productivity server CALs, as I just said, Exchange, SharePoint, Skype for Business on-premise don't require CALs for external users. Now, these users become internal, they will require CALs. So that's an increase of cost. There are other products. One of the examples is Viva Engage user subscription licenses. Viva does not require user resells for external users, requires for internal users, and so on and so forth. And probably the biggest hurdle is you could claim that if you have a contractor that works remotely, sometimes connects to your service, and even uses a shared installation of Office 365, they may use their own licenses, which should be a reasonable conclusion because they already work for themselves, they have their own license, then they connect to your service, they shouldn't be double licensed. Now, unfortunately, they will have to be double licensed effectively. Even if they have their own license, they will now be considered internal, and therefore you would have to buy those licenses for them. Watch this space closely. Do not assume that it's going to be a bad news for you in October. I wouldn't assume it. I would assess your external users, see where they fall in the new definition, see at which point in time you renew your contract, so the new rules will not necessarily apply to you starting in October this year, and act accordingly. Prepare. Dynamics 365, somebody on LinkedIn recently wrote that, how does this affect Dynamics 365? There's a very tiny exception for external users in Dynamics 365, which is for remote support. Otherwise, Dynamics 365 already requires user subscription licenses for contractors and agents, regardless of whether they are on-site contractors or not on-site contractors. So that was changed long ago. So Dynamics users will not be affected by that change of the definition of external users. A small news, and probably not revolutionary, is that Azure Support Offer, which was an offer of free Azure support at the standard level, That offer expired on the 1st of July, a few days ago, well, 2 days ago, on my birthday, by the way, which is my birthday, the Canada Day, and also, if you didn't know, Microsoft's and beginning of the new financial year. So that offer is expired, but it probably won't break your bank. Again, if you're a reasonably sized organization and you require the same level of support, that was an equivalent of Azure standard package, which, as you can see on the slide, is only $100 per month per organization. So it doesn't scale with your size. It's a fixed fee. Simple. But maybe interesting. If you want to continue consuming that sort of support, then start paying $100 per month. It was a temporary offer anyway. I will repeat what we said multiple times on previous lives. It's not yesterday's news, but for some of you who haven't been to our slides, who haven't been following Microsoft licensing news and updates, there is a Dynamics 365 price increase coming in October, again, on all the new subscriptions and all the new contracts. On renewed enterprise agreements, please pay attention that Dynamics will rise in price. I wouldn't say that it was unexpected, because I would rather say the fact that Microsoft hasn't raised prices for 5 years, that was unexpected. But this price increase, according to our internal analysts in SAMexpert, is probably, we can't really confirm this, only Microsoft can confirm it or deny it, it's probably due to all the other competing products also raising prices. So there you go. Get ready. And the other thing you need to get ready this year, this is based on the feedback we're getting from various channels, including our clients, our enterprise clients, and also some closed communities where people discuss the Microsoft budgets. Everyone is seeing a notable increase of Microsoft budgets, especially at renewal. So normally at renewal, typical growth is 10 to 15%. That's what Microsoft wants you to grow by. That is almost programmatically included in renewal price increases, cost increases. This is something you should expect when you open a negotiation for your enterprise agreement renewal or another agreement renewal. That's an expected growth. And you may negotiate it down below that. It will be difficult, but you may. But one thing is you may want to negotiate your discounts. The other thing is the reality of changing landscape of various products. And there's Copilot. And Copilot is a fixed fee. It's $30 per user per month. The discounts on Copilot are tiny. Usually one-digit discounts, and only when you commit significantly, say you commit for 1,000 users, then you may start discussing discounts. So together with the typical increase, with additional push to E5, and with Copilot, if you're in procurement, I suggest you have this increase in mind and you start planning for it, and you start preparing for your renewal negotiations up front, thinking about this. Ask your partners, whoever consults you, if it's not us, somebody else, whoever consults you on Microsoft licensing costs and cost reductions, start planning with the changes that your IT is planning to do around these products and new technologies. Start planning with that in mind. Assess it strategically and be prepared to either pay more or negotiate or change your plans, adjust accordingly. This is a big warning, and please don't ignore it. And on this note, this is the end of the update for this month. There's probably no reason to hold you longer online. However, if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them right now. This is your last chance. I'd like to make an announcement. So for those of you who are, if you are in the service provider business, I have, by the way, a new update for you. I have an update from Microsoft on the service provider use rights. You should already know, that wasn't new, that I think it was May last year when Microsoft said no more new subscribers through SPLA for Dynamics products. And they put two very particular dates there. First of all, your SPLA contract should have been signed before mid-2023, and then you could only report those licenses until 2026, also mid-2026. They have removed that limitation, those calendar limitations. So if you have existing clients, you host Dynamics 4, Dynamics AX, Dynamics legacy Dynamics products, Navision, Acceptor, if you remember the old names. If you continue hosting those products for them and you provide SPLA licenses to those end clients, you may continue doing so, but only with those clients who are your current Dynamics, SPLA Dynamics clients. You may not provide SPLA licenses for Dynamics to new end customers. Their only option is bring your own license. Their only option is to bring that license on site, to your estate, to the hosting. And on that note, this is the end of the updates this month. I hope I'll see you again at the beginning of August. In September, we'll probably meet somewhere after the 4th of September. If that is not in our usual first Wednesday of the month schedule, I apologize. I'll be traveling. I'll be in Atlanta, speaking at the nighttime conference in Alpharetta, Georgia. And if you are in that area, by the way, please DM me if you want to know about that event. I will tell you, I will send you all the details. Thank you very much for being here with us today, and have a great day. Have a very productive day, a very productive week, and a very good month of July. And I'll see you in August. Thank you.